Welcome back. This is video 9 of the Mayflower build. Since the last one I've not done an awful lot, so we'll crack on and do some more. I said I would do the stringers, which I've done. That's the just the small pieces in here to line the edges all the way around, as you can see that. These go in pretty easily. This wood, this 1x3, is quite hard actually. It's a darker colour and it is quite hard. That goes in alright. What I've done there to get that bend, I didn't need to steam it at all. I just pushed it in, but what I did, I put wood glue at both ends and left a small 1-inch gap in the middle, and I just put some super glue in there. A little bit I've got to scrape off there, and then you just push it across and just hold it for a couple of seconds. Just mind you don't stick your fingers to it. And that will hold it until the wood glue sets. On the forecastle, that was a bit different. That was quite hard to do. Just a bit of glue on there. I didn't need to steam these. All I did was I actually soaked them in a cup of boiling water. I let them soak for 5 minutes, and then obviously you can't use the plank benders on these. You just got to do it with your fingers and just tease it around a bit at a time and hold it in position. And then the same thing, put some wood glue on, leave a little gap in the middle, a little tiny blob of super glue, and then push it across into place. And I put a pin in. There's a slight pin over there, you won't see that on the completed model. I just put a pin in to hold it, because they're the hardest bit to do. Don't bother about the length, these can be cut off afterwards. We'll just saw down there and cut those off. So we'll do that, and then we're on to building the stem. Building all this bit. It's on about putting the gun ports in, but I don't want to do that yet until I've varnished it. I said that on the last one I was going to give it a coat of varnish. I haven't done yet, but I might just do that now. I've done a bit more filling. I've drill the holes for the stands, they go in now. So I might just give it a coat of varnish just to see. I can always sand it again and varnish it again. But I think it'd be an idea to give it a coat before I put the gun ports in. And then in this video I think will be, depending on how much I get done, but we'll try and get the stem built. Okay. So at this stage I decided I would put the gun ports in, or I would cut them in anyway. So this is just lining them up on the plan. when you're measuring these, take the measurements from the stern and the top of the deck, and measure to either the front or the back top corner of the gun port, and then measure the size of the gun port and square it off onto the model. You can see on the plan here, the next one is in line, the tops are in line with the rubbing strake, so you can just follow the line of the planking round, so it lines up with everything once you've finished building the model and putting the rubbing strakes on. This one at the stern is much smaller. It's also hinged the other way. You've got to be careful of that. I use one of these small sanding bits for grinding them out, but you've got to be very careful with them because they have a tendency to wander off to one side. But if you just put it in the drill hole and work it down and just control it with both hands, and it does the job fine. Just try it in for size and see how you go. Make sure it's not. Make sure you don't take too much out to start with. It knows take more wood out, but you can't put it back in. And just trim it out a bit at a time. Maybe a bit more with a grinder, and then a bit more maybe with a knife. So another day, and we've got all this side cut in, the starboard side. They're all cut in. This one, must note from the plan, is slightly smaller size. So now we need to go on to doing the other side, and the easiest way of doing this is to, I find it easier rather than using a ruler, just use a piece of wood and always go for the front corner. So mark that in from the back and that far down. So we'll turn that around. Make sure you still see this end. Yeah. And we're looking at it's still from the top. So that far down. Somewhere around there. And we're that far in. Keep it straight. There. So we know now that that is the front corner. And these larger ones, the cutout, the rebate on the back, the cutout is actually 10 centimetres squared. Sorry, 10 millimetres. So again, we have to look at this square on. That was the front corner. Bit awkward trying to keep it in line with the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So we'll do the rest of those. We saw previously I drill the corners. So that's got both sides done. 6 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the same on the other side. Yep. So they're done. So I think what I'm going to concentrate on now, I mean the next bit to do is the bow. I said I was going to give it a coat of varnish and I haven't done as yet. I'm thinking before I actually do any more would be to get the bottom sprayed white and get the stands set in. Remember, these studs have to be epoxied in here and cut to length, and then I'll use a piece of just the stand I had before just to stand it on for now, get rid of this, but we need to get the bottom done white first. I think I might do that next. So I'm going to paint the bottom, and first thing I've got to do is mask it off. Now I use this really thin masking tape, like pinstripe tape, to start off with, just to follow the waterline around, but make sure the waterline is visible and that you tape the right side of it, and then you can put a thicker masking tape on top of that, and then another masking tape on top of that with paper. But you'll see how we go on here with it, and there's a link below for a pack of this masking tape, which is in various sizes, starting off with this really thin one and building up. It is of course an affiliate link. Just make sure you get it right in the corners, otherwise you'll get bleed through. Just use the back of your knife like this, just to really push it in the corners. So just check all around and make sure it's all nice and straight, pressed in at the corners, and you've gone down all the edge with the back of your fingernail just to really make sure it's fixed on, and then you can start doing the rest of the masking. Bit, any old paper will do, newspaper preferably, it bends easier. I didn't have any, so yes, I brought out the old Christmas paper, but it'll do, it works. Stuck, and then take it outside to spray. I'm using this plastic coat and I got from Amazon. It's got good reviews on there, so we'll give it a go. I'll put the link below, and we'll see how we go with it, but it looks to be quite good stuff. I've not used it before. So we've got it sprayed 3 coats, and I've done some bit more filling. There's a couple of gaps showing through and needs a bit of sanding off. You can see that okay, yeah. So I just sand this off and then we'll give it another couple of coats and then take the masking off. It seems to be trying to come up on its own. We'll see what it looks like. You still want to be able to see the plank, you don't want it completely smooth, but it looks okay so far, and that's the satin finish. So we'll give that a rub down, spray again, and we'll come back. So I rubbed it down and gave it another 2 coats. It's almost dry, but we just be careful taking the masking tape off now. If it is a bit tacky when you take it off, just make sure you're pulling it away from the paint. But this looks alright, it's a nice finish now. It looks pretty good. A couple of little spots that have bled through, but nothing major. That looks really nice. Pleased with that. Okay, so we've jumped on a bit. All came off alright, and I've now glued the studs into the stand, into the bottom of the boat. So the studs are glued in, and this is just a temporary base. Somebody making me a polished wood base, so just sunken nuts at the bottom there just to hold it on, and that's where we're at the moment. I'm going to take a step back now, and I'm actually going to stick the gun ports in, because there's no reason why they can't be. I'm not going to go lathering varnish all over them, and it's just following the instructions as we go through, because I know at least one of you that's subscribed is building this. There's just a couple of things to note on this, and that is, if you look at the plan, well, look at this is how I've done it to the plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you look at the picture on the box, it's different altogether. Where are we? You see that? So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Another one there that looks the same size, 5, and then what looks like 2 smaller ones. And on our instructions and the plan, we have only got 3 on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, and we've got 2 a bit higher up, which are the same size, and a small one at the top there. The other thing to note on this is that small one is sideways on. See, these are hinges on. These bigger ones are at the top. On the small one, they're at the side. Hope that comes out alright. I think it does. So I'm just going to stick those in. Don't need to watch all of that. Just a little bit of super glue and put them in. Oh, one other thing to note, which when I was putting them together, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but the hinge on the lid is slightly offset. So it goes in from, I don't know if you can see this, it goes in from the back and hinges down like that, but if you get it the wrong way around, that's the right way. Let's try that again. Right, turn that over and put it in, and it doesn't close. Okay, so there is a right and a wrong way around to put them in. Just make sure when you put it in that it closes. Hope you got that. Okay, so I'll start with the bigger one and then come back when they're all done. So I assume these are offset the same. Actually they're pretty easy because they've got like a handle on the outside. So that must go to the outside, I have to guess. It does. So they fit in there and then glued in. A little bit of super glue. So a little bit of super glue down each side. My fingers stick to it as I thought. So I'm keeping more clear this time. With a bit of sandpaper next time. One, just do another one. Right way around. Make sure it goes in. So I'll just carry on with those until they're all in. Yeah, so they're all on. A little bit of stuck on my fingers, but a little bit of overspill around the edges. I need to be careful of, but I think that will sand off very carefully before I varnish it. So it's coming along quite nicely now. That's it for this week. Don't forget to subscribe, and you'll see the next one, hopefully next Wednesday.